Good morning, sunshine. It's time for your weekly wake-up call. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Wake Up Call TV. I'm your host, Jody England, and I'm so excited you made it here. So today's topic is something very juicy and maybe slightly controversial. We're going to be looking into the topic of how Kim Kardashian can help you become a better person. Yes, we're talking about that Kim Kardashian, the star of the Keeping Up with the Kardashian show, or Kim and Kourtney Take New York show, or if you're not a follower and don't happen to have those particular shows DVR'd, as I may or may not, you may know Kim Kardashian as the woman who spent $10 million on a wedding and stayed married for just 72 days. Either way, you don't have to know a ton about her in order to play in this exercise. First of all, I want to acknowledge those of you that are in complete resistance, who showed up here just because you had to see what kind of a crackpot thinks there's anything that can be learned from Kim Kardashian. I see you. Thanks for coming to play anyway. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. If you have a piece of paper and a pencil handy, go ahead and grab those. If not, you can do it without, but it'll be better if you can write them down. So what I want you to do is you're gonna pause the video, and I want you to write down 3 reasons why you could never learn anything from Kim Kardashian. All right? The more specific you can be, the better. So for instance, don't just say, I could never learn anything from Kim Kardashian because she's an idiot. Say something more specific, like because she is an idiot in this way. Okay, one more important thing is don't censor yourself here. So if you find yourself having a hard time writing things down, go ahead and just remove that censor. There's nobody watching but you and I. And write down whatever comes to you. Be as mean as you need to be, but get it out on paper. So take a minute, pause the video, write down, give me at least 3, and then push play when you're ready. All right, go. Welcome back. I hope that was as fun for you as it was for me. What I want you to do now is put that aside. We're gonna get to it in just a second. But first, I wanna talk to you a little bit more about judgment. How is it that we're going to learn anything from hating on Ms. Kim K? Well, let me tell you. Here's how judgment works. It can be a very powerful tool for gaining insight into what's happening with you. See, we think that judgment is really about the other person. If they weren't so stupid, if they weren't so obnoxious, then I could be happier, right? And then I wouldn't have to deal with blah, blah, blah. But really, the way judgment works is there's something inside of you that you don't like. And instead of feeling the pain of that thing you don't like, you vomit it out or project it onto somebody in your life, so that you can see them and you can say, wow, they're way worse than me. I'm so glad I'm not that. And it keeps your attention focused outward instead of inward, where the power lies. The thing I want you to know about judgment is that judgment is never about the other person. It's always about you. Let me say that again. Judgment is never about the other person. It's always about you. All right. Now it's time for your paper. So go ahead and get that paper where you wrote down your reasons. And this part, I'm going to warn you, may sting a little bit, but this is where the growth lies. So hang in there with me, okay? So pick one of your things from your list about reasons why you could never learn anything from Kim Kardashian. And what I want you to do is take out Kim's name from the sentence and put in I. And then read that sentence to yourself. So here's an example of what that might look like. I could never in my life learn anything from Kim Kardashian because she is so fake. She always has to have her hair and makeup done, and you never ever see the real person. Okay, now let's replace Kim Kardashian with I. I never show up as the real me because I always have to look perfect on the outside. And then feel into where might that be true in your life. In what area is that very thing happening with you? Now you have to be really brave here because oftentimes we don't want to be honest with ourselves. That's why we're projecting it out onto Kim Kardashian in the first place. So be willing to go there and just take an honest look. Now here's the other thing to remember. Sometimes what happens is we notice a judgment and then we start judging the judgment. So we see it in ourselves and we say, oh yeah, I'm a perfectionist too. I hate that about myself, right? What if you could just notice it? What if you could just say, oh, interesting? Or even better, look at it with a little compassion. Oh, I'm so cute. Isn't that cute how I do that? Okay, so now let's look at a couple other things on your list. It was so fun the first time, why not look at some other areas, right? So I'll be happy to get the ball rolling in case your list was short or you need a little help getting started. I could never learn anything from Kim Kardashian because she's famous for nothing, right? So if I was to turn that around, it could look something like, I'm afraid that people would like me because I don't really have any substance, or that people who like me don't really know me, or that I don't really show the real me, right? So you may have to play with the wording to make it fit you, but your goal is to search for how does it fit you. All right, so if you need to pause the video for a minute, go ahead and do that again to try on these few judgments and see how they apply to you in your life. Go on, I'm waiting. Fantastic. I'm so proud of you for being willing to go there and do the hard work. So now you're probably asking yourself, so I get it, I have all these flaws in myself that I have unfairly projected on Kim Kardashian. And now, what the heck am I supposed to do about it? All right, so now comes the fun part. Oftentimes, waking up to it is all you have to do. Once you realize that's what's occurring, sometimes it just sort of floats away. So notice if that's the case with any of the things that you wrote down. Now that I notice I'm a perfectionist, can I let that go? Oftentimes, awareness will be the only thing that's needed. However, if you notice that yours is still hanging around, or you feel worse now than when you started, perfectly fine. There's another step you can take that's really easy, and I alluded to it earlier. But if you notice that part in you that you're now taking responsibility for, such as perfectionism, or feeling like a fraud, or being authentic, see if you can add a little love, a little compassion. And that's as easy as you can close your eyes and you can just imagine putting some love and compassion right onto that part. Just allowing yourself to soften into it and realize, okay, it's there. I see you. I see you. Very, very powerful way of moving that energy. One last thing that I want to clear up for you. If you're somebody who's been on the path to enlightenment for a while, you may fancy yourself a very non-judgmental person and pride yourself on that very aspect. And that's fantastic because that's what we're all going for. However, in reality, we all are judging and assessing all the time. You may have made some progress in that area and you may not do it as much as you used to think that you did, but we still do it all the time. It's just how our brains are put together. So I invite you to not judge your judging or to feel bad about doing it, but use it as a doorway. Now that you understand how it works, use it as a way to learn about yourself. And then what you'll realize is that judgment is really a way to freedom. Since it's not about us anyway, Kim K can forgive us for using her as a way to learn more about ourselves. Okay, bonus round. If you can handle just a little bit more, I want to tell you what you can do with this information in the rest of your life. All right, so as we talked about, judgment is always about you, never about them. How can you use this knowledge to make your life easier and better? Here's where you use it. Any place in your life that you're feeling judgment. So often this is in our relationships. You may think of it in a situation with a coworker or a boss or your spouse or your children. All right, so you can do this very same exercise where you write down, my spouse is so annoying because he never listens to me, right? And then you do your turnaround. You replace he with I never listen to me, or I never listen to him, right? So you play with it until you can feel the truth of how it really applies to you. This is going to bring you an immense amount of freedom in your life, because as you take your power back, you realize you're not a victim to him. You don't need for him to start listening to you in order for you to feel happier. When you start listening to yourself and when you start listening to him, Those are things you actually control, and therein lies the freedom. You get to fix and control those things that are in your power to control, and you're no longer a victim to suffering that you think is caused by anybody else. Brilliant, yes? So there you go. Kim Kardashian is already helping you become a better person. I'd love if you would share your insights below so that we can all continue to learn and grow from each other. So just post down below what you learned about yourself and what judgments you're going to be dropping as a result of it. Also, if you like this video and you want more insights just like this one next week and the weeks after, make sure you sign up on the list and get the free meditation. And also, each new episode will be delivered right to your inbox each and every week. So wake up to those judgments, turn them around, and get free. Consider this your wake-up call.